Retailer interest in urban market has changed quite a bit. It's been a new fervor or interest in it. Development of regional malls has slowed down. In fact, probably 1 out of every 4 regional malls now is probably going to close. It'll probably get a little bit more so. And the lifestyle center development has slowed down dramatically. Retailers, in response to what consumers are asking for, which is a more urban-friendly, walker-friendly, eat, sleep, play kind of environment, have decided they need to go back into the city markets and down into the central business districts. So we've seen an increased interest in that sort of development, and it's been nice. I mean, it coincides with what we're trying to do in our downtown revitalization projects. You also mix in those national and regional players with local players who've already been down in urban markets, and you get a nice collection that you can curate, bringing in high sales from the regional guys, but also bringing some unique uniquely driven, localized type retailers for urban districts. I think ideally they're going to be looking for historical buildings. They're going to be looking to be in something with character and unique qualities. These are one-of-a-kind type properties. We're never making any more historical buildings. Well, I say that. I guess everything will become historical at some point in time. But nobody's making buildings out of these brick and stone with beautiful palladium windows and beautiful storefronts. So these things are very unique and hard to find. So your national retailers are really looking to identify themselves in a very distinct manner. And certain retailers will look for certain aspects. Some will want large glass storefronts. Others will want little glass and a longer type of retail area. And I think that you'll find that the retailers are looking also to be near each other. They're looking for that same synergy that they used to have in the mall. So they're also going to identify with what used to be the main of a town center is where they're going to try and locate. They want to be at that central hub. I think the interest of these retailers runs the gambit of 1800 style buildings to the mid-century modern. You've got West Elm, who loves to be in funky, unique spaces, or Urban Outfitters, who would go into something that's a little bit more funky or alternative. You've got Victoria's Secret, who loves to have the tin ceilings. They love to have the mahogany and the wood storefronts, heart pine floors. So that's more attuned to the 1800s. So you do have a wide gambit of where you can do this sort of project. It also depends on what's the architecture of the locale that you're in. I'm fortunate enough to be working on a project in Savannah where we have buildings that range from the late 1700s to the late 1920s, 1930s. So we have a wide variety of opportunities there, and certain retailers will gravitate towards certain types of architecture. We were fortunate enough to have some Art Deco buildings, which lend themselves to a more modern, sleek retailer. And then you have your Gorin Brothers or your Crew Optics, which are a little bit more of the hip, trendy Americana. And so they're looking for that 1800s brick and mortar storefront. Historic preservation and urban redevelopment can have a lot of challenges. They really, and it really runs a variety of different things. I think the first and foremost is whenever you come into a historical neighborhood, you're going to find locals and the community that probably love and cherish their neighborhood, and they're very vocal about it. So anybody coming in from the outside, they're going to see what are they doing? Are they going to tear this down? Are they going to change the face of it? What are they going to do to preserve it? Are they preserving it to the 1800s? Are they preserving it to the 1930s? And we face that problem a lot of the time in the sense of what I may see as the historical preservation of the building may not match up with what they want. Our project in Savannah, we got in there and many of the storefronts were closed. Many of the upstairs hadn't been used in 60 years and they were boarded up. So it took us taking those boards down, putting in new paint, fixing the mortar, taking facades that were put up in the 30s or 40s that covered up beautiful brick, and taking that down for them to see what we were doing there. And we weren't just going to make it into another mall. And so once you get that support, it feels good. Rather than walking down the street and looking over your shoulder every time, people are coming up and shaking your hand and saying, I really appreciate what you're doing. And that is truly one of the rewards. Now, obviously, I'm not in it just for pats on the back. We're in it for a financial gain. The margins are a little bit thinner than what we would see in a greenfield project. And in order to do that, one of the things that we have to do is prepare a pro forma. When we're doing our pro forma, there are so many unforeseen conditions in these buildings. We have no idea what we're going to find at the end of the day when we pull off that facade or that stucco, or we open that vault. You know, what's going to be behind there? Is it asbestos? Is it some sort of hazardous material? Those unforeseen conditions can really throw a pro forma out of whack. And so at the end of the day, we have to pad that budget. We have to do as much investigation into the property as we can without actually taking down that wall yet. And we have to really do a balancing act of what it is that we're going to have to do in that building, what it is that the tenant's going to require, and what it is that we have to do to meet code and requirements, and balance how much money I have to put in at the top end of that pro forma and what's going to come out at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, it's a total balance of what I can get from the retailers, what the retailers want, what I can get out of the building, and what I have to put into the building.